So for step 27, the steering linkage, well, you can see what we'd have to do if we were building this with the stock setup. But I'm adding the Yeah Racing aluminum ball bearing steering set for the TT02. Now you can see they're showing you building it. Well, this is pretty much already pre-built in the bag. So I pretty much am sure that we're just going to end up moving to step 28 to do the installation, but I'll open this up and let's take a look just to make sure. So if we open this all up, we got to cut that anyway. What did I do with those? Oh, let's do it this way. And let's see what we have in here. So here is that aluminum bridge, and I mean you can see that the way that's showing it, or it's kind of already got this in. I don't know. We'll take a look. There does seem to be some differences. I'm not sure yet. So if we look at the instructions here, there's obviously some things we're going to have to do, but it kind of looks already pre-built. But you can see that we've got these pieces here, which are going to be used when you attach it to the chassis, and then the screws that'll attach it to the chassis. So I'm pretty confident that we're just moving on. This is pretty much already built. So we can move right into step 28 and let's attach it to the chassis. So one of the things that I am noticing with this is that if you take a look at this, this is the back end for where the servo arm is going to attach. So the two pieces that would be sitting here that are actually attached to the wheels is not part of that kit, which means that these two pieces do still have to be built. So I'll grab those and we can snap in these B11 pieces, and then we can move to the next step. So I've got all of our pieces for the arms here. So it's just going to be a matter of snapping them in with the pliers. So let's grab the pliers. There's one. 2. They're in. 3. And last but not least, 4. So those pieces are the ones that are going to attach to the hubs for the steering. So along with the aluminum upgrade that we're putting in, this step now is complete. We've got all the parts ready. So I'm not going to attach this to this yet, because there's different screws that are going to be used. You can see here that you'd normally use the tapping screws, but because the aluminum racing set isn't like that, you're not going to be using any of those. You're going to be using one of the screws in this kit. But I would like to get this in place and then see what screws are to be used for those arms. So 27 is done. So we'll move on to 28 and we'll attach the steering linkage. Well, here I ended up just having to refer to the little manual for the Yeah Racing arms, because the screws are different, obviously, than what we would be using with the standard setup. And what you have in that little bag are these 3 screws that are smaller than these 2 big ones. So there's basically a 14 millimeter and a 12 millimeter. So there's 3 of those, 2 of those, and then of course we have our collars that have to attach as well. Well, what I've discovered in referring to this manual is the longer screws are the ones that are going to attach the main arm. So basically these 2 pieces right here that we would be using the step screws, and we're using these ones, and they're the main ones that go in. The other 3 are for the arms and for the steering linkage that attaches to the top of this. So I'll set this up and we'll start putting it together, and I'll show you as I go along where they go. So let's attach the main part first. So this, you can see, turns around, and you don't want it looking like this. So if we were to put this in there like this, this is going to get in the way. You need this to be the other way around so that the ends are curved forward and it leaves this open and flat. Because you can see, you can put this on any way. It doesn't actually tell you which way. That's not going to be right. You have to have it installed that way. This is also facing backwards. So if we grab our collars, the collars are going to go in on the underside on both sides. There we go. So once the collars are installed, you can put this down onto the chassis, and I think we're going to grab one of our 14 mil screws. We're going to put that into the hole right there. And here's something interesting. This kit does not come with an Allen key to be able to put these screws in that come with the Yeah Racing. But the Tamiya screwdriver set actually comes with a Allen key sizing that is absolutely perfect for this. So I'm just going to temporarily put this in just so that I know that they're in the holes and in the correct position. That's moved. Let's do that. Nope. It's not in the right position. So let's make sure that it is. I need to turn this sideways here. And let's make sure that's going in the right place. I think that's correct. Yes, now that is there. So let's get those in place. And it feels nice and smooth, so that's great. So I'm just going to grab the other part of the screwdriver, the ends, so it's bigger. I've got something more to hold on to, and we will screw this into place. And same thing with the other side. Because I'm just going to go back and forth and make sure that it actually is going in properly and nothing's binding. Because typically this is going to be tapping screws, but these are not tapping screws. Pretty much right at the end. There we go. And this feels just super, super smooth with it being the ball bearings. So there's nothing binding there. So this will make it nice for the steering. Awesome. So with that in place, you can see that we're left with the two arms that technically we were to put on step 27. But again, I wanted to see how this was all going to fit. Well, what have we got left over? We have these three 12mm screws. So this one, if we take one of the arms, put the screw through, this is going to attach to the arm with one of these. So if I grab the Allen key again, We're just going to be able to screw this right down. Just like that. And we'll do the same with the other side. We'll grab one of the 12s. And we'll attach that to here. Goes in nice and smooth. So there we go. There are the arms that are now attached to that aluminum racing. That's awesome. So that is done. Now the only thing is, there is one other screw, and I'm just going to put it in temporarily here. This leftover 12mm screw is the one that's going to be attaching to your servo arm, so that it's being attached right here. Again, I'm just putting it on like that for now temporarily, until we get to the step where we're installing the whole servo setup. But that's it. That is the Yeah Racing aluminum steering linkage, and it's great. And it just fits to those. I'm sure there are aluminum pieces you could get for these, but for now, this is all I want to do. So that's great. 28 is complete. So now we're going to move on to step 29, and we're going to do the RC equipment check.